My name is Qin Lynn. For years, I believed I had built a fortress of happiness, brick by painstaking brick. My life with Jingbo, the man I loved, was supposed to be a testament to our shared dreams. We started from nothing, just two ambitious souls with a vision. My dowry, a substantial sum from my family, was the bedrock of our fledgling business, while Jingbo was the face, the charismatic frontman. I was the architect behind the scenes, the tireless worker who poured every ounce of my being into nurturing our enterprise. I managed the finances, oversaw operations, and often worked late into the night, long after Jingbo had retired to our luxurious home. Our success, the sprawling mansion we now called home, the designer clothes, the glittering social life, it was all a monument to my sacrifice, my intellect, and my unwavering dedication. But monuments, I learned, can crumble. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, cracks began to appear. Jingbo, once my ardent partner, grew distant. His late nights became more frequent, his excuses more elaborate. I, ever the pragmatist, dismissed it as the burden of success, the demands of a growing empire. I was pregnant then, carrying our first child, a beacon of hope that I believed would mend any unspoken rifts. I envisioned a future where our child would run through the halls of the home I had helped build, a future filled with laughter and unconditional love. That dream, however, was destined to become a nightmare. Her name was Lucia. She entered our lives like a venomous vine, beautiful and insidious, slowly strangling the life out of everything I held dear. She was introduced as Jingbo's new marketing consultant, a title that barely concealed the predatory glint in her eyes. She was younger, undeniably alluring, and possessed a cunning that I, in my naive devotion, initially underestimated. She began to subtly undermine me, planting seeds of doubt in Jingbo's mind about my business acumen, my decisions, even my character. Little things at first. A misplaced document she claimed I had hidden, a forgotten appointment she swore I had deliberately missed. Jingbo, once so trusting, began to look at me with suspicion, his eyes clouded by Lucia's carefully crafted lies. The confrontations became more frequent, more vicious. Lucia would orchestrate scenes, feigning distress or injury, always ensuring Jingbo was present to witness my supposed cruelty. He, without fail, would take her side, his voice dripping with accusation, his gaze devoid of the love I once knew. "Qin Lynn, how could you be so thoughtless?" He'd demand, his words a dagger to my heart. "Lucia is fragile, she's sensitive. You need to be more understanding." Each time, a piece of me withered. I tried to explain, to reason, to plead, but his ears were deafened by Lucia's siren song, his eyes blinded by her manufactured innocence. The final, crushing blow came on a rainy Tuesday. I was in my second trimester, feeling the first flutterings of life within me, a tiny spark of joy in an increasingly bleak existence. Lucia had cornered me in the office, her voice a low, venomous hiss. She taunted me, detailing her intimate moments with Jingbo, reveling in my pain. "He tells me you're cold, Qin Lynn," she purred, her eyes gleaming with malice. "He says you're more interested in ledgers than in him. He prefers my warmth." The words were a physical assault. As I tried to leave the office, Qin Jia pushed me, and I fell, my stomach hitting the corner of the desk. My head reeled, my vision blurred. I felt a sharp, agonizing pain in my abdomen. I collapsed, the world spinning into a vortex of white-hot agony. Later, in the sterile silence of the hospital room, the doctor's gentle voice delivered the devastating news. I had lost the baby. My child, my hope gone. And I knew, with a chilling certainty, that Lucia was responsible. That was the last straw. The fortress had not just crumbled, it had been obliterated. Lying in that hospital bed, the emptiness in my womb echoing the emptiness in my heart, a cold, unyielding resolve settled within me. The tears had dried, replaced by a burning fire. I would not be broken. I would not be discarded. I would not let them walk away with everything I had built, everything I had sacrificed. When Jingbo finally came to see me, his face a mask of feigned concern, I looked at him with eyes that had seen too much, endured too much. "I want a divorce," I stated, my voice steady, devoid of emotion. His eyes widened, a flicker of surprise, then a smirk. "A divorce? Fine, but you leave with nothing. The house, the business, all of it stays with me. You walk out with the clothes on your back, just like you came." His words were a cruel echo of Lucia's earlier taunts. "I came with a dowry that built this empire, Jingbo," I retorted, my voice rising with indignation. "I worked tirelessly, day and night, to make us wealthy. I will not be cast aside like a broken toy. I will not give up my hard-earned profits, so you and your mistress can live a life of luxury while I languish in poverty." The smirk vanished, replaced by a sneer. "You'll get nothing, Qin Lynn. Nothing." He turned and walked away, leaving me alone in the cold, sterile room. But this time, I was not defeated. I was reborn. The first person I thought of was Chen Jia Hao, my senior from college, a brilliant, unassuming law student who had always possessed an uncanny ability to dissect complex problems. He was now a renowned lawyer, a titan in the legal world, known for his sharp intellect and unwavering integrity. I found his contact information and, with trembling fingers, sent him an email. His response was immediate, a simple, empathetic message offering to meet. When I walked into his opulent office, a stark contrast to the chaos of my own life, he greeted me with a warm, familiar smile. His eyes, however, held a deep understanding, a quiet strength that immediately put me at ease. I recounted my story, every painful detail, every betrayal, every calculated cruelty. I watched as his expression shifted from professional attentiveness to quiet fury. When I finished, the silence in the room was heavy. "Qin Lynn," he began, his voice calm but firm. "What they have done to you is unforgivable. Not just the infidelity, but the emotional abuse, the financial manipulation, and above all, the loss of your child. We will fight this, and we will win." His words were a balm to my wounded soul, a promise of justice in a world that had felt utterly unjust. "I want everything, Jia Hao," I said, my voice resolute. "I want to claim the majority of the family's assets, every penny I helped build. And I want to sue Lucia. I want her to pay for every gift Jingbo lavished on her with our marital assets, for every cruel word, for every tear I shed, and most importantly, for the life she stole from me." Chen Jia Hao nodded, his gaze unwavering. "Consider it done. We will gather every piece of evidence, expose every lie, and dismantle their carefully constructed facade. This will be a battle, Qin Lynn, but you will not be alone." And just like that, a new chapter began, one of defiance, resilience, and an unexpected alliance. Our first step was to meticulously document everything. Chen Jia Hao's team, a formidable force of legal minds, began to dig. They unearthed financial records, call logs, travel itineraries, and surveillance footage. The sheer volume of evidence against Jingbo and Lucia was staggering. Jingbo's lavish spending on Lucia, often disguised as business expenses, was meticulously cataloged. Gifts of luxury cars, designer bags, high-end jewelry, all paid for with the profits of the business I had built. Lucia's social media, once a public display of her opulent lifestyle, became a goldmine of incriminating evidence, showcasing her flaunting gifts that were clearly marital assets. Meanwhile, Lucia and Jingbo, emboldened by their perceived power, continued their campaign of psychological warfare. Lucia would send me anonymous messages, taunting me with details of her life with Jingbo, pictures of them together in our home, in places that held precious memories for me. Jingbo, through his lawyers, offered me a paltry settlement, a fraction of what I was entitled to, accompanied by thinly veiled threats about my reputation if I dared to fight. "You'll be a laughingstock, Qin Lynn," his lawyer sneered during a mediation session. A bitter, childless woman clinging to a past that's long gone. But their words, once capable of shattering me, now only fueled my resolve. Chen Jia Hao was my shield, deflecting their attacks with calm professionalism, his presence a constant source of strength. The legal proceedings began, and the courtroom became a stage for their elaborate charade. Jingbo, coached by Lucia, presented himself as a wronged husband, a victim of my supposed emotional instability and financial mismanagement. Lucia, playing the role of the innocent, devoted partner, shed crocodile tears as she recounted fabricated stories of my alleged cruelty. They painted me as a cold, calculating woman, undeserving of love or success. The media, always eager for a scandalous story, sensationalized their narrative, portraying me as the villain, the scorned wife refusing to let go. But Chen Jia Hao was a master strategist. He had anticipated their every move. During cross-examination, he systematically dismantled their lies. He presented irrefutable evidence of Jingbo's infidelity, not just through call logs and travel records, but through testimonies from hotel, staff, and private investigators. He exposed Lucia's manipulation, her calculated attempts to sabotage my reputation within the company, and her extravagant spending of marital funds. The courtroom, once filled with their self-righteous indignation, began to shift. The public narrative, once against me, began to turn. The turning point, the moment that truly shattered their facade, came with the revelations surrounding my miscarriage. Chen Jia Hao had worked tirelessly, following every lead, no matter how faint. He had found a disgruntled former employee of the clinic where I had received my prenatal care, a nurse who had been bribed by Lucia to tamper with my medical records to administer a medication that would induce a miscarriage, disguised as a routine supplement. The nurse, burdened by guilt, had come forward, providing a detailed confession and irrefutable proof of Lucia's monstrous act. The courtroom gasped. Jingbo's face, usually so composed, contorted in a mixture of shock and dawning horror. Lucia, for the first time, looked truly terrified, her carefully constructed mask crumbling. Chen Jia Hao presented the evidence with a quiet, devastating precision. The doctored medical reports, the nurse's tearful testimony, the financial transactions linking Lucia to the bribe. The judge, a stern woman known for her unwavering adherence to justice, listened with a grim expression. The air in the courtroom crackled with tension. Jingbo, confronted with the undeniable truth of Lucia's depravity, the horrific act that had cost us our child, finally saw her for what she was. His carefully constructed world of deceit imploded around him. The verdict was swift and decisive. The judge ruled overwhelmingly in my favor. Jingbo was found guilty of infidelity and gross financial misconduct, his attempts to conceal assets and defraud me utterly exposed. I was awarded the majority of the marital assets, including the family business and the mansion, which was rightfully mine. Liu Xia, facing charges of attempted murder and fraud, was arrested in the courtroom, her cries of protest echoing hollowly as she was led away. Justice, cold and unyielding, had finally been served. The aftermath was a whirlwind. The media, now singing a different tune, hailed me as a symbol of strength and resilience. Jingbo's reputation was in tatters, his business empire crumbling under the weight of his own deceit. Lucia faced a long prison sentence, her scheming ultimately leading to her own downfall. But amidst the chaos, a quiet, beautiful transformation was taking place within me. The pain of betrayal still lingered, a scar that would forever remind me of what I had endured. But it no longer defined me. I was no longer the heartbroken wife. I was the victorious phoenix rising from the ashes. Chen Jia Hao stood by my side through it all, not just as my lawyer, but as a steadfast friend, a confidant, and something more. Our late-night strategy sessions had morphed into shared meals, our professional discussions into intimate conversations about life, dreams, and healing. He had seen me at my most vulnerable, my most broken, and had helped me find my strength. His empathy, his unwavering support, and his quiet strength had slowly, gently, mended the fractured pieces of my heart. I found myself looking forward to his calls, to his presence, to the warmth of his smile. He wasn't just a brilliant lawyer. He was a kind, honorable man who saw me, truly saw me, beyond the headlines and the heartbreak. One evening, after the dust had settled and the legal battles were behind us, we sat on the terrace of my now reclaimed home, the city lights twinkling below like scattered diamonds. The air was cool, a gentle breeze rustling through the leaves. "You did it, Qin Lynn," he said, his voice soft, his eyes reflecting the city lights. "You fought and you won. You are truly remarkable." I turned to him, a genuine smile gracing my lips, a smile that had been absent for far too long. "I couldn't have done it without you, Jia Hao. You were my rock, my voice when I had none." He reached out, gently taking my hand, his touch sending a jolt of warmth through me. "You always had a voice, Qin Lynn. You just needed someone to help you find it again." In that moment, under the vast, star-dusted sky, I realized that the fortress of happiness I had once built with Jingbo was gone, but in its place, a new, stronger foundation had been laid. It was a foundation built on truth, resilience, and a love that was pure and unwavering. My journey had been arduous, filled with pain and betrayal, but it had also led me to a profound understanding of my own strength, and to a love I never thought I would find again. Chen Jia Hao was not just my lawyer, he was my future, my partner in a new, brighter chapter. The phoenix had risen, stronger and more beautiful than before, ready to embrace a life filled with genuine love, unwavering respect, and the quiet triumph of a spirit unbroken. My story was not one of a scorned wife, but of a woman who reclaimed her power, her dignity, and her heart, proving that even from the deepest despair, hope can bloom, and true love can find its way.